Hello. I would like to invite Juha Ylimäki to the stage to reveal some tricks from the Shadow book.
Thank you. All right. Hello, everyone. Let's see if the computer wakes up. Right, so my name is Juha Ylimäki. I'm from a small indie game studio called Muro Studios. And we have been developing the iOS action-adventure game for almost a year now. And I'm here to talk to you about some techniques and more this kind of like a hands-on approach, what kind of techniques I have used in the background, in the nice parallaxing background we have in our game. But first, I'll give you a gameplay video of the shadow bug, so you will get the idea what I'm talking about. Right, so there's our gameplay video. As you could see, it's for iPad and iPhones. And what is cool about Shadowbug that it's really easy to play, even though it's an actual action-adventure game where you all the time have the full control over your game character. The game doesn't have any like digital buttons on the screen because they usually just ruin the gaming experience more or less. So the core game mechanic is that you attack and jump by tapping on the enemies in the game world. So this way, we don't need any extra buttons, which is cool. So, also to start with, we are soon starting beta testing with the game this August, pretty soon. So if you are interested testing out, if you have iPhone, iPad, please come and join the beta testing, and you can put your email right here at shadowbug.com. So, to begin the actual lecture, so to speak, I will go through from pretty like basics, because I don't know how many of you have any idea how to even make textures or whatnot. So I will start in Photoshop, making the basic like images and then put them into Unity and show you guys how we created the parallaxing background in our game. On top of that, I will like go through the UV animation technique, which is actually ancient technology, but used pretty well in this case because it doesn't cost so much for the CPU to actually run smoothly, because that's what we need because it's a mobile game. So to begin with, I'll just show you like a basic level I have. So yeah, you can see I'm in Unity. Here I have the scene of the game. This is an example scene I created for you guys. I hit play. So basically, don't mind him. He's the shadow bug. He's just walking in the air because he's like on top of magical invisible collision box. But anyways, just to show you guys what I want to go through. As you can see here, if you can see my mouse, there's like an animated waves of the platform on the background, which is basically done by using UV animation and simple 3D mesh. And a waterfall, and again, like waves. And here's our toxic dragon flying there, doing nothing. Well, just chilling out. And I also use the same UV animation technique on his waving hairs, instead of using quite expensive like joints and whatever. So basically all these small hairs here are like small 3D meshes which are animated, and the texture is animated with UV animation script. So it's just to show you like how it works. So yeah, basically this game is for touchscreen device, but in this case, because I'm using it in Unity, of course, I have to do it with my mouse, which is okay. Just to show you a couple of different backgrounds. In the game, we are going to have 3 different worlds, like the forest and the wasteland or sewers and the evil factory scene. So basically the story is you are Shadowbug, and there is this evil corporation with his factory putting pollution into your forest, and you need to go and, of course, destroy the factory and whatnot. As you can see, there's the evil factory. God damn it. Oh. And also to show you the factory-themed background. And you can see the steam in the background. Of course, if there's a factory, there has to be steam. So that's also made with the simple UV animation stuff. So, let me double check. Oh yeah. So in this case, we are using Maya. You can, of course, use whatever 3D software you want. But instead of just using sprites, in every object that I use the UV animation, so the texture is animated. So they are actually mapped on top of those really simple 3D meshes. So basically, as you can see, here's the factory pollution and the toxic dragon's hairs and the waste waterfall. And these are the small waves I showed you in the beginning of the wasteland world theme. Under the platform, there was the small waves tripping. So, to go to the very beginning of making our backgrounds to the game, I'll show you the, let's start with the forest background. So here is actually the, I don't know if anyone, of course, I think some of you knows Unity, but here's like the hierarchy, which means all the objects in the scene, what there is in the level. So here I have put like all the 3 different backgrounds. So now I have the forest background on. And when I open it, I can see all the stuff I have there. So I just put away the sky from the behind because it's a bit weird in the editing mode. So now if I play, I don't have the sky in the behind. So basically there's just blue, but everything else is still there. Oops. So basically, as you can see, the pieces of the background are moving in a bit different speed depending on which layer they are on. And in this particular forest background object, I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, actually 6 different layers. And all these 6 different layers are moved in a bit different, with a bit different speed according to Shadowbug where he moves. So this creates the cool parallaxing feeling and gives depth for the game world. So in Unity, every object, there's the inspector, and here's like all the components that object I have selected has. So here you can see parallax background script created by Kim, sitting back there. Marvelous coding, thank you. And basically, because I'm just an artist, I can't understand that must be really hard-made code, you know. If Shadowbugs moves this direction, then according to his speed, the graphics moves. And here I have 2 nice magic numbers, which means the Y and the X axes, and the speed it goes with. So this one actually moves the slowest. So it's in the very front of the background. Then comes the next layer, it moves a bit more fast, and so on. Or actually, is it just other way around? Of course, the sky doesn't move almost at all, and the front one actually moves the fastest. So it seems like the smaller the number, the faster it goes, of course. But anyways, so let me just show you if I take the parallax background script off from all those layers. So basically now you can see there's no depth at all. They're all just moving the same. They are not moving at all, so it's just pretty boring, like no depth at all in the world. That dragon. So of course, the more we have these layers and the more we have objects on the background moving, it's going to be more. It's going to cost more for the mobile device. So what we try is to make it as complex as possible, the background, but still try to have it work as smooth on as low-end devices as possible. So let me just, for example, give you go more in depth into the actual sprites used in the in the background. Like, for example, here in the middle layer, I have 4 trees. So maybe I can show you the in Photoshop. So basically, this is like one tree in the background. If I remember right, the size of the image was like rather big for the game. So it's actually, the original file I've been drawing is actually quite big. So it's possible to be used also in print material. Because of course we're gonna need like posters and stuff. But when I import it to Unity, in the import settings, I actually put the maximum size to a bit lower, so it doesn't take so much memory from the phone, which again is like a rare thing to have. And of course, all these could be in smaller pieces to make more variation to the different pieces of the trees, for example. But then, at least after our testings, we have figured out that the more there is objects, that's also actually there's going to be some sort of like in that you need to actually have as few objects as possible also in the background. So the gameplay is smooth again, because the most important thing, of course, is that the game goes as smooth as possible. But also what I found cool in Unity is that in sprites, for example, I can pretty easily create different color scheme or color for all the sprites. I mean, they are all like instances of that one tree. But for all individual trees, I can just go and tone it down to more red or whatever color. So now that really fits there nicely. So next, I'll give you a small intro on the actual UV animation, what is it all about. So basically, if I give you the sky back, Photoshop is going nuts. Okay, let's try restart. So yeah, basically what I want to show you is just the basic idea behind like tiling textures. Here we go. So as you can see here, it's quite simple. Just made some sort of that looks like some sort of cloud or whatever trippy sky. So in order to actually use the UV animation smoothly so that there's no any seams or anything while you animate the texture on top of the 3D mesh, the texture has to be tiling at least in one axis. So just to demonstrate this in Photoshop, what that means is you can go to Filter and Offset. So basically you can see I'm now offsetting the texture horizontally. So this is the basic magic that all the artists are doing for tiling textures. If you have an image that is actually not tiling, there's like weird stuff on the edges. Let me demonstrate just to be more clear. So yeah, basically now I have a not so tiling texture anymore. It has black frames. So now if I show you the offset, you can see, well actually seems to be still quite nice, but you get the idea. So this basically also, I can demonstrate in this very simple way that what the actual UV animation does, what I'm using in the game. It basically just animates X and Y, or either one axis. Basically like this, looping like this. So if I show you just to demonstrate. Here is the waterfall, as you can see. So basically what's happening here is just animating the texture, tiling texture in one axis, like on and on, looping forever. And of course, to make it more waterfall, we have like super cool sounds made by Veli. Thank you. So I'll open this texture of this waterfall in Photoshop to see how it looks like. So basically, it's just like one colored stuff. So if I go to offset again, you can, whoa, there's some layers I need to put up. So now there's just one layer I'm moving. So this is actually the same thing you can see in the game, what's happening there. But why I have it white in the texture is because it's easier for me to just quickly try different colors in Unity. As I showed you with the trees, I can just change the whole color of the sprite quite fast. So here I have if I, for example, put red, yeah, here you can see there's actually two different layers on top to make it more organic looking. Nice, so now we have a river of blood coming out there. Just for fun. So in the sky, you can see there's the clouds moving, and surprise, surprise, you can imagine it's made with the UV animation. And here you can see the edge of the huge, simple 3D mesh, like a quad. So here actually ends the actual 3D mesh in the background. So if necessary, I can move it in a better place or scale it up so the player doesn't see the edge. See, here I have sky cloud. So it's basically a huge, simple quad in the background. And the texture, as you can see here, is tiled 12 times. So if I put 1, you can see the actual size of the texture in the whole thing. And of course, I could just rotate this if I want to give something a bit different look. And then again, the cloud thing has UV animator script right here. And it has also 2 nice magic numbers. Basically, again, just saying the speed of X and Y axis. So if I put a bit more, let's see what happens. Just for variety, let's change the background. So yeah, as said before, there's the steam. So basically, it's just the same way. There's 2 quads, the background, and then on top of that, there's the tiling steam texture behind that is UV animated in a bit that direction. Pretty simple. Oh man. So now you get the idea of what UV animation is all about. So pretty ancient technology, if I get it right, but works pretty well for mobile games because it's quite cost efficient. But yeah, let's go more into the waterfall thing. Just to show you how you can make, like, there's 15 minutes left or already passed. 15 minutes left. Wow. So just to quickly show you how to, because now we have seen like really simple meshes and UV animation. So now let's go to Maya. You can see here. Whoa. So basically how I have done all these meshes is that I have created this really simple mesh. It has a couple of vertices or edges, so you can actually bend it, for example, like this. And first you make the simple mesh like this you have here, and then you make the UV core unwrapping, which means that how the texture is projected on top of the mesh. And after you are pleased with how the texture is put on that simple mesh, you can start playing around with the actual mesh. After that, you shouldn't anymore touch the UV coordinates or anything with on top of the 3D object. So basically what I have done here, as you can see, it's the same object as on the right, but then I just bend it like this. Because now if I would use here the UV animation, it would just go from up to down, for example. But if I put it like this, or like this, so it goes, the animation, UV animation makes it go around like that. So basically the UV coordinates in the 3D texture are in the same place. But as you can see, when the actual mesh is not so, there are not so many like vertices, it's not so accurate. You can see the texture starts to go a bit nuts, like here. It's not anymore smooth. So in order to fix that, you just make it more like accurate, the mesh, so it doesn't actually ruin the animated or the mapped texture on top of the. And in order to show you also because in the waterfall, of course, this is just another trick how to use the thing. Like when the water is falling, then of course the gravity is all the time getting, so the speed of the water is a bit getting faster and faster. To not make it look like it's just going like this all the way down, it doesn't look so like really organic or realistic. So it actually goes a bit faster in the end. So to make this, I have basically, with the 3D mesh, I had just made the last vertices to be like here the polygon is not so long, so it takes it's actually because I animate the whole thing with the same speed from the top to the end, but still it looks like the speed is getting faster in the end because the polygons are just longer in the end. So this pretty dirty trick, but in our case and in our game, it actually works pretty well. And also just for the organic feeling, for example, the waterfall. Now there's only one layer, it doesn't look so cool, but if I put the second one on top with kind of quite the same color, it actually, and the other layer is actually a bit faster on top of that, it looks a bit more organic and there's more stuff going on. But yeah, so there's not so much time, so I'm happy to actually just show you some scenes where this stuff has been used. So this is like one of the first levels in the game. They are the evil bastards coming out of the tubes, and you just need to slice them down. Oh. And here's a bit like the Toxic Dragon level, just to show you guys. So there's also the UV animated stuff going on all the time. Also in the background you can see some steam and stuff, just to give some feeling more there. And also, if you join the beta, this is like one of the bosses you're going to see. And I'm not sure if you can actually see, but the chains under the machine are actually UV animated as well to make it look like actual chains. But yeah, I think I have covered quite well what I have done in the background and how I have animated it with UV texture, with UV animations and so on. So once more, I'd just show you guys the gameplay video of the game to give you an idea how it looks like. So, once more, if you're interested, please join our beta testing in our website, shadowbug.com. And I think if there's time, I could take some questions.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
If anyone has questions, please raise your hand, and I'll come with the mic.
Hi.
Hello.
Why don't you release your game on Android? I mean, you made it in Unity, so it got to no work.
Well, basically, we are first making it on iOS. It's a premium title, and people are actually more ready to pay for quality titles as a premium game. And also, it's about creating the community for different platforms. It's going to take time.
OK, thank you.
Thanks.
Hi.
Hello.
Could you quickly show us how the UVs are laid out for the wiggly bits?
Oh, yeah, the hairs of that. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot that. Let me first show you in Maya. Like, as you can see, this object is made out of the basic thing, you know, just making it thicker in the middle. And if I could find the actual texture. Okay, here we go. So here you can see the mesh, and I want to show you the actual texture. So here you can see it's pretty simple texture that tiles in this direction. And because the mesh is shaped in this way, it actually gives the feeling that it's actually thicker in the beginning and getting thinner in the end. So it doesn't look like one thing going somewhere, but actual hair. I hope that actually makes sense.
Yes.
When the player collects the shiny things, they fly to the player and leave a trail. Is it done with UV animation or something similar also?
The trail.
Yeah.
I think our programmer Kim knows better, but it's just actually that's a script in Unity, if I remember right. That has nothing to do with UV animation.
Okay, if no one else wants to ask questions, then I think it's time to give a round of applause for Juha for giving this speech.
Thank you. And thanks for inviting us here.